So it's very common for my clients to contact me, and they want to move to Bend, and it's a common strategy for them to think, well, okay, we're gonna move to Bend, and we're gonna rent a house for 3 months or 6 months or a year, whatever, just to get used to the area. And it makes perfect sense. Like, well, it's very logical. Sounds safe. It's a good idea. And I usually don't tell people right off the bat that, well, that's probably not going to happen. Um, but I hear them out, and or even just let them, come to Bend. Let's spend the day together. Let's go. Let's look at a few properties and I'll show you around. That's usually kind of what we do. And I'm honestly, I don't think in all the years I've been doing this that I've ever had anyone actually rent a house in Bend and stay on that plan. Maybe one that I just can't recall, just for the sake of argument. Maybe there was one. The reason why it generally happens is two things. They get here, they really love Bend, and they really know they want to be here. And over a period of a few days, that really gets sunk in. And so it really reassures them that moving here is what they want to do. And at that point, they decide, no, we just want to buy something. And for those that I know that have come and looked into renting, it's usually the issue of the short inventory, the lack of inventory for the rental market. We're less than 1% availability here, and it's probably worse than that now. And then, people usually have a certain standard of what they're looking for as far as what kind of home would we like to live in. And of course, we want to be in that neighborhood where we want to be. And people sometimes forget, coming from a big city, they don't realize, Bend is relatively a small place compared to where they're from. And they think that there's always just going to be a rental in the right neighborhood that they can, be in. And or a type of property, a home that's comfortable for them, that's at the type of luxury or living comfort that they're used to, and it's just not available here. At least not for what most people want to spend for a rental. It turns into over $2,500 a month for sure, and maybe if you're spending in the over $35,000 to $4,000 a month, there would be more to talk about. But like currently, I was just checking a couple days ago for another client, and money's no object. We want a beautiful place. We want to be on the northwest side of town. What can we get into? Oh, we need 3 bedrooms with an office. Blah blah blah. 3-car garage. It's just not available. Okay, it's for any amount of money, because there's lots of other people that don't have a financial restriction, and right now it's just not available. I do have some great resources for relocation that I would love to connect you with. And I mean, if there's a chance of getting into that rental, I have the connections for it, no doubt about it. But it's not a piece of cake, okay? So that's usually the thing that pushes people. They're realizing, okay, so we're gonna burn $30,000+ next year renting. Or we could put that money towards our down payment on our house. Let's just find a house. That's generally the conclusion after a few days of being in Bend. It's very rare that doesn't happen. And it is much easier to find the right home than it is to find the right rental. That is a fact. Now, right now, of course, even in real estate, inventory is low, and so that it's going to be a challenge to compete, depending on how you're purchasing. But it's just something that I see a lot of people do now. The other thing, okay, so the strategy, we're talking strategies and moving here. Come to town, buy a house. Come to town, rent a home, stay a while, then buy a house. Or something else that you could consider, even if, let's say you think you're 1, 2, 3 years away from moving to Bend, retiring, coming to town. Now, so with rental properties, okay, so the third strategy would be buy a rental property that you could transition into. This way you're buying right now, rates are historically low. Rents are high, and it's easier to buy than to find a rental. You want to lock your price now. 3 years from now, prices are likely to be higher, of course. So why not lock a property now that will rent and cover the mortgage, your cash flowing at least on a break even or positive. And you're getting into the real estate market here in Oregon. So with that said, in looking at different types of investment properties, single family home, I could recommend some great neighborhoods with lots of upside potential. Definitely have opinions, and I can make a strong argument for different parts of Bend that have the most upside potential. So even if the rents aren't as high as you want them to be, the upside potential value increasing over year 2, 3, definitely I can pinpoint neighborhoods and say this is where you want to be, this is where the new schools are going to be, this is the area you want to be in. So we can talk about that. But the problem with that, I would say, is the concerns about Oregon laws pertaining to rentals. And the laws that protect the investors, really, the laws really more favor the tenants. And evicting tenants has just gotten harder. Raising rent has just gotten harder. There are rent limitations and rent increases. These things all are steering investors away from the long-term rental options. Although some are they're fine with it. I have a lot of clients are still buying long-term rental properties in the right neighborhoods, more of a long-term play than a short-term play. Now, for the other investors, of course, there's the duplexes, the triplexes, the fourplexes that right now I don't think there's a single one on the market. Those are harder to get. But they're good. They're good. It's an option. But I think one of the most attractive and interesting options would be the short-term rental market, and with the most upside potential, potentially less risk if you're buying an STR. We call short-term rental an STR property in the right location could potentially be not just a good investment but a good business model. With the right management and in the right location, with the wave that we're in right now where people are leaving the big cities, they're exploring locations like Bend. For example, I'll give you, just recently I had an investor purchase a property in just down around the Sun River area, which is about 20 minutes south of Bend. And it's a popular resort area, Sun River. Well, just south of there, Caldera Springs, the Three Rivers area is beautiful. Well, it's basically kind of a little bit more of an upscale resort location from Sun River. And I found a property in there that really was exactly what they wanted. A 3-bedroom, three bedroom, 3-bathroom home that had great rental history. Really solid history, considering that the owner was also using the property a lot. So it was going to be an easy yes, easily cover the mortgage, etc. And in a location that was really turnkey, easily managed, rental history set up, under $1 million. So I think it was just under 900 actually. And that made sense to them and got them in. And it's in a really attractive location. Now, they're going to rent that property for a few years, and they're going to be retiring, currently living in the Seattle area. They're going to be renting that, and at a cash positive, and they'll be using it when they want to come down, have it for 3 or 4 days, or mark off those weekends, the holidays, maybe a ski trip. And on the really hard to get weekends, typically on Airbnb, VRBO, you can't always get what you want. So it gives you control of your schedule, and also gives you the property, gives you full control. Also, you're benefiting from the investment in several different ways. So that's a popular route. Another property currently in escrow would be a little higher price point, 5 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms, closer to 3,000 square foot investment properties, STR. Really strong income, just over 100,000 a year. And it hasn't really been managed all that well, actually. It could do better than that. And, that's, again, it's just, in that price range, some really well-managed properties in great shape, turnkey, furnished. So really, you don't have to do a thing. In fact, this last property already had basically the rest of the year booked out, except for Christmas, which was great because my clients want to use it at Christmas time that week. So it's something that worked out really well for them. Exciting, actually, an exciting investment property financially that will be easy to sell in the future. And again, just give them flexibility and control. It's a transitional property for a lot of people, so they can come back to Bend a few times, 2, 3, 4 times a year, until they're either comfortable locating a primary residence or just keeping it as an investment property in their portfolio. So it's something to consider. Bend is on the map for people traveling around the U.S. looking at rural areas like we have. We have the ski resort nearby, a nice ski resort, well managed. We've got rivers, lakes, hiking, biking, great restaurants, a great downtown. We have a nearby airport that does direct flights to most major cities, and lots of blue skies with sunshine. But we do have 4 seasons. So I mean, Bend is, if you put Bend on paper, it's strong enough to compete with some really major locations around the country, and even beat many times. A lot of my clients have shopped the country. They can go anywhere they want, do what they want, and Bend ends up winning. It's not for everyone, but what you can do with $1 million here is pretty impressive. So that hopefully opens some ideas for properties, investment strategies moving into Bend. If you have questions or would like to talk more about it, you can reach me anytime or call me directly, 541-797-9966 in Bend, Oregon. Paul Frazier with Knightsbridge International. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.